Hey guys, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. My name is Ganesh. I'll be your instructor for Active Directory Technology training, and I'm happy to start this training course for the people who are looking for the job outside in the IT industry, who are applying for the job, who are giving their interviews, and who are trying to learn this Active Directory technology. So I don't want to waste much time. So let me start with the course introduction. This is purely related to the Active Directory technology, and this technological course is going to be the boot camp kind of stuff. In this session we are going to cover a brief introduction about the Active Directory, how the Active Directory evolved, and how the Active Directory will be implemented and used in today's world. And we'll talk about the Active Directory fundamentals, about the domain trees, forest, organizational unit, global catalog, all those things. If you are new to this course, if you are new to this concept, if you're new to this particular technology, then you need not have to worry about it. We are going to cover each and every aspects in detail. Okay, and after that we are going to cover about Active Directory management tools. There are certain tools that we use as a part of Active Directory management. We are going to have a detailed walkthrough of that. We are going to cover about the naming context, that is there are different partitions that we use in Active Directory, that is domaining partition, schema partition, configuration partition, and application partition. We are going to have a detailed look as to what those partitions are and how to configure them, how to use them. Then we will move on with Active Directory schema. Active Directory schema is a skeleton of the whole infrastructure, and it has certain attributes, object classes that will be registered in AD. We are going to have an in-depth understanding of that. Then we are going to proceed with the site topology and Active Directory replication. When we talk about the Active Directory, obviously we are going to have two or more domain controllers. We are going to have multiple sites. We are going to have the site replication configured between the sites, among the sites, inter-site and intra-site replication. We are going to discuss about the searching of objects in the Active Directory. There are some applications where we are going to use this Active Directory for searching, and then we will proceed with the configuration of Active Directory and DNS. We are going to discuss about the basics of DNS, standard primary, standard secondary, and Active Directory integrated zones. We are going to have a detailed outlook of that. Then we are going to go ahead with the domain controller operations. There are certain domain controllers that we are going to implement as a read-only domain controllers, server codomain controllers. We are going to virtualize some of the domain controllers. We are going to install the domain controller role and feature in physical infrastructure as well. We are going to discuss about how to deal with such kind of scenarios. And then we will learn about the authentication protocols. There are certain authentication protocols like Kerberos, NTLM. We will discuss on that. Then we will discuss about the group policy premier, that is how to implement the group policy when a policy is applied, what will happen and how it is going to take effect on the computers and users, and what are the do's and don'ts with the group policy. We will discuss on that. Then we will move on with the fine-grained password policy. When we do not want to have the default policy implemented for a group of users or for certain OUs, in such cases we need to have the fine-grained password policy in place. We will discuss about how to implement the fine-grained password policy, and then we are going to go ahead with designing of Active Directory structure, because it is not only about the configuration part, it's also about designing the Active Directory in such a way that the security and ASA of management is in place, that is considered. And then we'll think about creating a site topology, and then we will discuss about creating a site topology. When you're talking about the site topology, there will be inter-site and intra-site replication, and also there will be a knowledge consistency checker that will get built up between the domain controllers that are there in different sites. We will discuss about how to link them, and we will discuss about the bridget servers as well. And then we will proceed with the planning of group policy, deploying the group policy on organizational OUs and at the site level. We will discuss about the Active Directory security permissions and auditing. When we are implementing the Active Directory, obviously we need to have the security in place, we need to have the auditing in place, so that we can get to know as to who is doing what, who is deleting the object, who is creating the objects, who is making modification to the objects. That's also an important thing. Then we will discuss about designing and implementation of the schema extensions. So there are certain activities that you need to do with regards to a schema extension. In such cases, you need to have the nomination and responsible person in your organization. You need to know how to create a schema extension. We'll discuss about that. And then we'll proceed with the backup, recovery and maintenance. When we are talking about the Active Directory, it is mandatory to have the backup of Active Directory. Those backups should be properly maintained, and those backups should be implemented, used for the recovery of the domain controllers as and when required. Say for example, there are certain situations where the patch gets deployed and it is impacting the domain controller and the domain controller is completely crashed. In such cases, what we can do is we can rebuild the domain controller and put the backup to the domain controller by restoring it. That is the thing that we can do. And then we will discuss about the upgradation of the Active Directory. So you need to be aware of how do we upgrade the Active Directory from Windows 2003 to 2008, 2008 to 2008 R2, 2008 R2 to 2012 R2, and so on. We'll talk about the function levels, how to raise the function level and how to roll them back with the changing technology. And then we'll proceed with the Active Directory lightweight directory services. It is one of the important thing that you need to know, and that is commonly used for the Active Directory LDAP services. There are some authentication protocols, there are some ADLDS installation steps that you need to be aware of. We will discuss about that. Then finally, the Active Directory Federation service is a topic that we are going to cover as a part of this training. So whatever headings you are seeing here, apart from that, there are a lot of practicals that will be covered as a part of installation configuration. And if you think that I am only talking to you about the theoretical aspects, don't assume like that. I am not talking only about the theoretical aspects. We are going to have a lab environment. I have a laptop with 16 GB RAM and some amount of disk space, storage disk space available. We are going to install the Windows Server operating system in the lab so that we can do lot of practicals with regards to the Active Directory. So whatever practical I am going to show in this lab or in this session, it is very much helpful for you, and you can ensure that, and these practicals are going to help you out in getting the job in the market by clearing the Active Directory related trainings. So we will meet you in the next section with the brief introduction of Active Directory, and I am not going to keep the video more than 10 minutes longer. So whatever topics we are going to cover, all the topics will be for a short duration. The size of the video will not be more than 10 minutes because you should not get bored by looking at the videos. And guys, I would request you to go through each and every topic, don't skip them. I am going to provide lot of information that is very much helpful. Nowadays, the people who are working on Active Directory are not easily available. That is the reason why I am making this video. If you want to be really expert in Active Directory, then this is a training that you need to go in for. There are some useful links, there are some useful tips that I am going to provide, and I hope you enjoy this session.